Hi and welcome to the Philosopher's Games. It's not much going on in games right now, but enough for a short Once Upon a Time in Games video. Let's start. Heroes of the Storm 2.0 was released. This is a big update for Heroes of the Storm with tons of changes, a new map, a new hero, both Overwatch related, changes to the progression and pricing model and many other changes. I want to look a little bit at the last point, the pricing model. When I made the first Good Games for Free video, I criticized HOTS for being a little bit expensive. A good example would be the Rainbow Unicorn mount for around $20 or 20 euros. So this is also a little update to that video. With the new 2.0 update, Blizzard changed that completely. Looking over some prices, I would say everything is a lot more reasonable now. But with 2.0, should you want to pay for something, of course you can still get heroes for free, you can't buy things directly with real-world money anymore and have to buy an in-game currency first, the so-called gems. Even though this is a standard free-to-play model for many titles, except for example Dota 2, I'm not the biggest fan of it. On the other hand, prices seem now far more balanced and you can now get, I think, all skins for free. It has a somewhat comparable model to Overwatch. You get chests and they can have skins in it. If you already own a skin that is in your chest, you get charts, and with charts you can buy skins directly. To tune that down a bit more, they just added sprays, voice lines and other things, so your chances for getting skins decrease. Charts can also be found in chests directly. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? How fair or tedious this model is hard to say, but I think it's okay in a free-to-play game, especially when it's primarily cosmetic. I'm not a fan of it in a full-price title. So the $20 mount is now far cheaper and prices went down in general, I would say. For example, the prices for heroes are comparable to League of Legends now, and if HOTS pricing put you off before, maybe give it another try. Oh, and if you just log into HOTS until the 22nd of May 2017, you get 100 gems for free, which is enough to buy a hero bundle with 20 heroes in it for free. But choose carefully, you can only buy one of those special hero bundles on your account. I will put links in the description. Last week, Cliff Bleszinski spoke at the Reboot Develop Conference 2017 in Croatia and warned that the AAA game industry is nearly unsustainable. I thought for a while about what to do with this statement. On one hand, he has a point. On the other hand, that point was made many times before over the past years. It's definitely not a new insight, but of course, him being from the industry, his word has a different weight. A prominent statement that fueled this discussion back in the day was from 2013 through Square Enix financial report. As Eurogamer stated, Tomb Raider sold 3.4 million copies in the first month, but Square Enix still considered the numbers very disappointing. They thought about selling 5 to 6 million copies. Considering this, it becomes clear just how expensive AAA development has become, increasing graphical fidelity and animation quality further and further while providing a huge amount of content, often adding additional multiplayer and co-op modes, just makes development so expensive. And if a AAA title does not deliver some of those by now standards as seen with Mass Effect Andromeda, a lot of people will start to complain. For sure this could be a loud minority, but I can still see how this will have at least some impact on sales, especially when a lot of games media is jumping on that train too. Additionally, the industry has this unwritten law of a $60 price tag. So the only possibilities to cover the increasing development costs are to sell more copies or add additional content that is cheaper to produce in comparison to the main game, known as DLC, and sell it too. And when DLC is not enough, add microtransactions. Well, you see where we are right now. Full price games with tons of DLCs and on top of that microtransactions. Also, companies are pumping out titles in determined cycles to a point games become so iterative that game development feels like it is not moving anywhere. They just try to avoid any risk. The innovations are often made by indie developers or developers of B and A titles, and then later adopted by AAA companies, if it was proven that they work. Of course, there are sometimes some exceptions to this, but I would say it's a common practice. Another trend we see right now, and Cliff Bleszinski mentions it too, is that more and more companies try to enter the Chinese market. This tendency isn't new either and quite logical. Why wouldn't they go there if they need to sell more copies? We could see all those symptoms in the industry during the past years. Bleszinski suggested the solution for smaller studios to aim for what he called AA titles, but I think this is also what is happening right now. The successful AAA companies have established a place at the top for themselves, and there are not many new contenders to go there. I think the newest one could be CD Projekt Red. Now that they have made The Witcher 3, people will expect as much or even more out of their next game, Cyberpunk 2077. Many companies and even some AAAs have started to create some great games, but with probably much lower budgets. Recently we got many great, somewhat niche titles, especially from Japan, that I would consider to be AA or A titles, like maybe Nier Automata, Nioh, Dark Souls 3, Bloodborne, Persona 5 and many more. All of these are great games that feel polished, but don't have the budget of a Call of Duty or GTA 5. And you see that in some places. For example, there is no lip movement when a character speaks in Dark Souls. That would be different in a top-tier AAA title. The tendency is definitely there, and some big AAA companies like EA even started programs to fund indie developers, and some even started to slow down their release cycles. And I think this is the smartest thing they could do. We will see more less expensive games by AAA developers and other companies. The established AAA companies will continue, and maybe some of them will fall. Sadly, Ubisoft will probably face a hostile takeover, and looking at Vivendi's history, that could end very bad for Ubisoft. I still hope they can somehow prevent it, but it looks bad without additional investors. Besides these, we have some small mentions. We got an announcement trailer for the new Call of Duty World War II. It will release November the 3rd, 2017. The trailer is linked in the description. Awesome Nauts becomes free to play at the 24th of May 2017. Maybe a good time to check it out, even though you could buy it very cheap in sales before. And my last little news, sales numbers for the Nintendo Switch are looking good, with 2.74 million units sold in March. This is good because Nintendo only estimated 2 million sales for that time period. Nintendo is also so confident that they estimated additional 10 million sales until April 2018, which is a good sign because Nintendo is probably quite careful giving out those numbers after the underperforming Wii U. And this wraps up my video. In this context, I thought about making a video about the concepts of innovation and iteration in game development at some point in the future. If you're interested, let me know in the comments. I have also some new ideas for some more Lord of the Rings lore videos. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, consider the YouTube or Twitter things. Thank you for watching and goodbye.